Hello, everybody. Thanks for joining the membership orientation webinar. We're going to get started in a couple minutes. Wanted to check in because there's a couple of you already on. I'll be back in a minute or so to begin with some housekeeping. Making some time available for more people to hop on. Thank you so much for joining. Be back in a minute. Hello, everybody. Thank you for joining the PIHRA membership orientation. Today it is Friday, November 15th, and I'm excited to be with you all. Thank you for taking time away from your lunch. We have 45 minutes together, so I want to make this as engaging and entertaining as possible for you, so hopefully that will be the case. Want to also let you know that, again, in incentive to help make this as engaging as possible, I want you to stay engaged. We will be interacting primarily through the chat box, so I will be responding to your questions that come in through the chat box. So get your fingers ready, because I definitely want to hear from you. I'll be pausing from time to time to ensure that I have seen all of your questions. And I will be peppering in different information about PIHRA, about our history, about our upcoming seminars and events and our chapters. And at the end of the webinar, I am going to put out a trivia question, and the first person to respond to it via the chat box will win this wonderful PIHRA Padfolio. We will mail it to you as soon as we can after confirming your address. So as I said, I want to make sure that this is as engaging as possible, but also that I interact with you in different ways and ensure that you get what you were looking for out of this webinar. I don't like to waste time, and I don't want you to waste your time. So right now, before I launch into introducing myself and my colleagues here, can you send me a quick note via the question box, chat box, and let me know what information are you looking for out of this webinar, and or what are your goals in participating with PIHRA, which is a professional association for human resource professionals. So I'm going to be jotting these down to make sure that, if possible, I can respond to your questions throughout this 45 minutes. If I can't respond, or I feel it's more of a one-on-one, I will contact you via email to either engage with you via email or set up a time that we could speak so I can answer your specific questions. So again, before we begin, what exact information were you looking to receive from this webinar, and or what are your goals in participating with PIHRA so that I can point you in the right direction? All right, I have some notes here, so I'm just going to pause and take some notes so I can make sure to adjust these. All right, I see, what is PIHRA about? I want to network. Let's see, what else do I see here? An overview of the organization and the meetings, what's accomplished at the meetings, networking groups. Get into HR. Okay. Supporting an accounting team. That's interesting. Good. California-centric resource. Okay. And certifications. Okay. How to volunteer. Volunteer. Student membership. Ooh. Relationship with SHRM. Okay. And let's see, what else do we have? Want to network. Employment opportunities. Okay. That's a lot. Let's see if we can cover all these. All right. Well, thank you so much. That's wonderful. I'm hoping to be able to, I think I can respond to most of those now. So you're probably wondering, well, who is this woman speaking on the phone? Well, my name is Lily Arguello. I'm here in the middle of the slide. I'm the Director of Membership. I've been with PIHRA since May 2014, and I have a background in organizational development and came to PIHRA from the Girl Scouts of Greater LA, where I had gotten into membership. So being on the PIHRA team has been a great marriage between my experience in organizational development, doing strategic planning, management training, succession planning, structure analysis, environmental analysis, and environmental scans, with my experience with a membership organization like Girl Scouts. So I'm really excited to be here, and my passion is to help people succeed in whatever they want. People and organizations, I want to help them succeed in their and achieve their goals. So also with me is Alice Sapian, and I'm going to let her introduce herself.
Hello, everybody. Thank you again for joining us today. My name is Alice Sapian. I am the membership coordinator for PIHRA. I joined PIHRA about 3 years ago, so time is flying by, and I am excited to be here. I love meeting you. I may be the person you speak to if you dial the main number. If you want to speak to anyone, I may be the first person you talk to and interact. I'm going to be helping Lily answer any questions in the chat box, so if she can't get to your question, I'll be answering this via the chat box if you have any questions. And you can follow up with us after the webinar if you want to talk to us as well. So again, thank you guys. I hope you enjoyed the webinar today.
Yeah, so we're really accessible. The best way to get a hold of me is via email. Elisette, if you call in the office, which our phone number is here on the slide, so we're also going to be sending out these slides to you within an hour of this webinar, so no need to jot it all down. But Elisette's going to be the person you speak to first, most likely. And then you can call me as well. Best way to get a hold of me is email, because I'm kind of running around a lot. Also on this slide is Jason Renda. He is one of our volunteer leaders, and I'm going to be talking about that a little bit as well in terms of volunteer leadership. But he is the chair of the membership committee. He is an HR professional, and he's certified, and I think he's a senior HR business partner with a global organization, so also very accessible and reachable, and would love to connect with you, especially via LinkedIn. So that's the way you can get a hold of Jason, and he can help also answer any questions you have about certification, getting into HR, and his home chapter, and I'll show you a map of our chapters in a bit, is South Orange County, which is our largest chapter. They have over 700 members. So if you want to meet a lot of people and are close to Orange County or live in Orange County, go to one of the South OC chapter meetings. They have monthly meetings, and they're out of sight. I love that group. They're young, dynamic, and just a lot of people go through there. So I saw a couple people want to network. If you're in Orange County or even kind of South LA County, check it out. They meet out at Irvine, I believe, at one of the Radisson Newport Beach, or very close to the John Wayne Airport. So yeah, So that's who we are, and now I'm going to get into a little overview of PIHRA. Someone asked me when I asked what they wanted to hear about is, what is PIHRA? What does PIHRA do? Great question. So our mission is to engage, elevate, and serve the California human resource community through innovative programming, professional development, and high-impact opportunities. We have a very large footprint. We go, and I'll show you the map, but we cover most of the south of California. We have members all the way up from San Luis Obispo, going all the way down to Chula Vista, at the border of California and Mexico, near San Diego. So it's a pretty wide footprint. We were established in 1944. And a group of HR professionals got together. They were volunteers, and they really wanted to discuss the future of the human resource profession. What sort of skills did individuals need to be successful in that profession? Where was it heading? What certifications made sense? So they first met, again, in 1944 in downtown Los Angeles. And a year later, they founded the Personnel and Industrial Relations Association, PIHRA, PIHRA, the Personnel and Industrial Relations Association. And this is the part of the presentation where I like to tell you that PIHRA was established 4 years before SHRM. Yay! SHRM, I believe, was established in 1948, somewhere in the Midwest. SHRM, the Society of Human Resource Management, someone asked the question about our relationship with SHRM. We are the largest SHRM affiliate in the world. They won't confirm that, but I know we are the largest SHRM affiliate in the nation with the largest amount of members. So basically, we have a charter through SHRM, we're affiliated through SHRM, but we are not SHRM. We are a separate entity. So hopefully that answers the question about our relationship with SHRM. We do play nicely in the sandbox with SHRM. For example, our executive director is at the Volunteer Leadership Summit today in Washington, D.C. SHRM is out of Washington, D.C., and so if there's anything specific you want to know about the relationship, in a nutshell, we are a SHRM affiliate, but we're a separate entity. Our memberships are different. So you would purchase a SHRM membership and separately purchase a PIHRA membership. And if you're interested in why I think you would want to do that, let me know. But in a nutshell, we're great complements to each other. We cannot compete with SHRM in terms of their website and the cutting-edge HR research that comes out of the organization. But they can compete with us with the local presence and the easily accessible and consistent professional development that we offer here in Greater Los Angeles. So let me introduce you to some key players at PIHRA. Patty Ann Sprinkle is the 2019-20 president of the PIHRA Board of Directors. As I said, we're primarily volunteer-led, so there's plenty of volunteer opportunities. I think someone asked about that. I'm going to be covering that later. But this is a real low-risk place for you to hone your leadership skills, plus gain some really great visibility within the HR community in Los Angeles. We'll talk about that in a minute. But Patty is super accessible. She has over 30 years experience as an HR professional. She retired a couple of years ago and is really excited about giving back to PIHRA. It's fun. She'll be at our legal updates. So if you want to meet her, you can check out our legal updates and I'll introduce you to her. Any questions you have about, the profession, she would be happy to answer, just even about PIHRA. So my fearless leader, Rafael Rivera, I mentioned he was in DC right now at the SHRM Volunteer Leadership Conference. He's been with PIHRA probably close to 9-10 years now, and I really credit him for, one, building an awesome staff, but also he has extensive experience developing conferences, and really I credit him for transforming the PIHRA annual conference to what it is today, the California HR Conference, the largest human resource conference on the West Coast, when SHRM is not in town. So he's built a team from, I think he started, there was 3 or 4 people. Now we have 10 people on our staff. So we also have the largest staff of any of the SHRM affiliates as well. So I did see, I wanted to make sure I caught any last comments or questions before I move on to, I want to talk to you a little bit about the profile of a PIHRA member. So I'll talk about volunteer opportunities later, and ooh, I got a comment here about old people. No, everyone's cool. I don't know how that came across, but here everyone is awesome, actually, and I don't even know what I said to lead to that comment, but we have all kinds of different members. We have programs tailored to executive VPs, to mid-career, to people entering their career, regardless of age. So, gosh, I'm so sorry if somehow I said something that was ageist, and I don't even know what it was. So, I don't know. But you can contact me separately if you want to discuss that, because I don't know what I said. So let's talk about the profile of a PIHRA member. We have over 4,500 members, and right around 34% are at the manager generalist level. That's really kind of our meat and potatoes, the mid-level career person who really needs to be up on all of the HR employment laws in California, and also wanting to strive forward into HR strategy and things of that sort. 33% of our members are directors and above, and right around 11% of our members are what we call service providers. Those are folks who are natural partners to the HR profession, so staffing people, insurance brokers, financial advisors, retirement advisors, and things of that sort. So that kind of gives you a sense of who your cohort is. 32% of our members are HR certified, and I did see that someone asked about certification. I don't have a lot of information about certification here, but maybe Elisette can add something into the chat box. We are not a certification agency. Our members are certified, and our programs are approved for recertification credit. So certification is really important to us and to our members. However, the certification agencies for HR, the 2 primary ones, are HRCI, the Human Resource Certification Institute. They're reachable at hrci.org, and SHRM. SHRM in 2015 came out with some certifications. The 2 primary ones, and there's also some badges, but the 2 primary ones are the SHRM CP and a SHRM SCP. And if you Google SHRM certification, you could find out more about that. I know it's a daunting task to start looking into certification. So in the chat box, I'm going to have Elisette send you all our URL. I believe it's PIHRA.org/HR certification, and we have information about certification there. We also have some previously recorded webinars where our SHRM liaison, John Dakota, talks about the SHRM certification, and our HRCI liaison, I believe it's Brad Wilson, he talks about the certification at HRCI. So definitely encourage you to investigate that further and spend some time on that. And maybe we could talk offline if you still have more questions. But I am not certified, so I'm not the best person to speak to about certification, but there's a lot of members in our LinkedIn group, etc., that can help. I see a note, so I'm just going to pause for a second and see.
Someone just said things.
Okay, great. Wonderful. So PIHRA footprint. As I mentioned, I was going to show you a map. So here is the map of our footprint. Let me see if I can get a highlighter here. All right. We go our chapters. So we have 17 chapters, and we go as far north as Antelope Valley here and Ventura County. So in Antelope Valley, they meet out of, I think it's Lancaster. They just changed their venue. And then Ventura County, they meet out of Camarillo at the Camarillo Country Club. We go as far south as Southwest Riverside, which you can barely see, and we go east, and this you cannot see, to Coachella Valley, and they meet out of Palm Desert. And we go as far west as West LA, so our West LA chapter. They kind of rotate, so they meet out of Santa Monica and sometimes out of Brentwood. And then we also have our South Bay chapter. They meet out of Hawthorne. So if you're in Silicon Beach or Westwood, one of those two chapters would make sense for you. Let me erase all the drawings. Now, our largest chapter, as I said, is down here, South OC. They are a great group, and they're just super progressive and energetic. Our second largest group is Los Angeles, and they are our founding group. So if you remember the districts, they're District 1, and they're also a great group. They have smaller meetings. They meet out of the city club. So in comparison with South Orange County, you may go to a meeting in South Orange County with around 60 to 80 folks. In LA, you're talking like 40 to 50 individuals at the meeting. Our North OC group is our third largest. They're a great group, very traditional HR group. So, you know, each of our chapters has its own culture. Maybe this is what the comment was. Like I was saying, South Orange County, they're kind of dynamic, energetic, more progressive, where North OC, they're very traditional HR, and so their programming is very kind of meat and potatoes HR piece. So that's kind of what I meant. That's probably where I might have said something that sounded strange. But the only thing I'm trying to get across is that each of the chapters has its own culture. I suggest that you attend various chapter meetings because you may want to select one that's your preference, and it really depends on you and what you connect with. So again, I apologize if that sounded strange, but that's what I was getting across. Let's see. I think that's it. I see another question. Let's see if I can address it here. I got a question. So a couple things. Chapters, when you become a member, you select your preferred chapter. You can change that preferred chapter at any time. By the way, you can attend any chapter meeting. You do not always have to attend your preferred chapter because all the chapters have different topics, and some of them have different specialties. For example, this might change, but Burbank-Glendale's chapter has a lot of employment law topics. So it just kind of depends. The Woodland Hills chapter is a mid-sized group. They're a fabulous group. I definitely encourage you to go to some of their meetings as well. But again, my point is that as a member, you can attend any chapter meeting at the member price. You can easily change your preferred chapter. By the way, there is a cost to attend the chapter meetings. Because there's a meal component, there's a networking component, and then there's a professional development component. All of the meetings have a different topic. Some of the chapters may kind of lean towards certain topics. for example, like the example I gave of Burbank Glendale, and others might be more pushing towards strategic HR or neuro leadership or things that might be considered a little bit more progressive or a little bit more forward thinking. But it really depends. If you have any questions about any of the chapters or what their topics are, each chapter has its own board, and they'd love to hear from you. If you have any input in terms of what kinds of topics that you'd want to hear at the chapter, please get involved. We're primarily volunteer-led, so each of the chapters is a great opportunity for you to volunteer. And we'll talk a little bit more about that in a moment. So I'm going to move forward, get back into my normal. All right, let's talk a little bit about, so we have 17 chapters that we just discussed. We have 3 specialty groups. The first group I want to talk to you about is the PIHRA Foundation. The PIHRA Foundation is a separate 501c3 nonprofit, and it raises money to offer HR scholarships to members and non-members. So they have scholarships for, if you want to receive your HR certification, it's a reimbursement type of scholarship. If you're getting your degree and want to apply for a scholarship to help you pay for your HR degree, that's also a possibility. So right now there's a scholarship application process open, and the deadline is today. So if you go to PIHRA.org/foundation, you should easily be able to find the scholarship link and pull down the application and return it to them to see. Not a lot of people apply for the scholarship, so if you know somebody or if you are interested in receiving one, go for it. And if you're connected with any student organizations that are in the HR field, please feel free to forward that URL to them. The PIHRA Foundation also offers 2 stipends to attend the California HR Conference. Our HR Conference is in August in Long Beach next year. The submission deadline is usually around July. This has the 2019 date, but it's usually around the beginning of July. So if you're interested in that, please look out for that. The stipends, I believe, are open to people who are not currently working. So you're in transition. That might be a good place for you to apply to that. Someone asked earlier about, I just don't want to forget about the California focus. All of our monthly meetings, especially, for example, the employment law meetings, are California focused. So our chapters meet monthly, so it's super consistent. You can look on our calendar, which I'll show you the URL in a moment, to find any employment law pieces and a description to make sure that it's the California specific that you want. I also have another resource for you, the individual who's interested in California specific law, and I'll come up, I'll get to that in a moment. Okay, so another specialty group is Club PIHRA. Club PIHRA is been around for a while, and they specialize in working with that HR practitioner who's responsible for any employee recognition events. So the Christmas party, the summer picnic, awards programs, and things of that sort. So they usually meet quarterly, and during their meetings, they have a networking component. They have a vendor fair. So if you want to meet any event coordinators or caterers or things like that, you'll be able to meet them there. They usually have an event at a venue where you for example, could host an event, so you'd be able to meet the people from the venue. And they also do a program. So if you are certified and need to get recertification credit, you can attend the meeting and get recertification credit for the program portion of the meeting. This is the fun side of HR. For example, they've also done events at Knott's Berry Farm. So they'll have the networking event, the fair, the professional development component, and then what you've paid will allow you to go into Knott's Berry Farm for the day as well. So I've even thought of taking my daughter to go to Magic Mountain or Knott's Berry Farm when they go. So stay on the lookout for Club PIHRA. You can always go to PIHRA.org/calendar. That's where all of our monthly meetings are located, and you can register there, Club PIHRA events. And also, I'm really excited about the third specialty group, Young Professionals. We launched the PIHRA Young Professionals in 2015. We found that we really needed a way to kind of create a pool of members for the future, those individuals who are recent graduates or entering their career in HR. So we didn't have anything for that group before. So now we have Young Professionals. We won the Sherm Pinnacle Award for our work in this area. A group of volunteers launched this on the board, and now the Young Professionals have taken it over. So they have their own committee. This is another good place to volunteer if you are a young professional or interested in young professional sorts of programming, or for example, I am very passionate about working with youth. I am not a young professional, but I do work with this group and help launch it as well. They don't have any events right now on our calendar, but an example of one of the events they had recently was this community service event. They did some mentoring in downtown LA at one of the, I think it was the Para los Niños middle school or high school. So just a great group to be involved with, and I'm really proud of them for doing this work. I don't see any questions, so I did have, I want to talk a little bit about the member benefits. So some of the questions that you had will be addressed here. But before I move on, since I just talked about young professionals, we do have a student membership. There's certain eligibility requirements to be a student member. The reason is that it's an extremely low price. It's $30 a year versus our regular membership is $150 a year. So we want to make sure you're carrying a full load and that you're working less than 20 hours a week to get the student membership. If you're fully employed as a student, we do have a special discount for those folks, and that would be $50 off the $150 membership for the year. We also have other deals. So if you're interested in any other membership types, let me know and we can talk about that. So member benefits. I have monetized our benefits to be valued at around $8,000 a year. Three of the top things our members talk about when they say what's most valuable to them is networking. So this is a place where you're going to be able to build your HR board of advisors. One of our former volunteers talked about her HR Fab 5. So, you know, working with HR in the past as a consultant in OD, I know that HR can be kind of a lonely position because you're dealing with a lot of confidential information and sensitive information. So you're going to want to build the network outside of your organization that you can call and talk confidentially about things that are going on to get some insights and advice. You're going to meet someone at PIHRA that has gone through or is going through something similar to you. So it's a great place to find a sounding board. You're also going to be able to become the HR expert that you want to be and that your firm wants you to be. We have professional development, like I said, on a monthly basis at our 17 chapters. So, I mean, you can go up to 600 professional development meetings in 1 year, which is a lot, but you can do it through PIHRA. We also have great conferences. I'll talk a little bit about our legal update in a bit. The California HR Conference, we have a California track. So anyone interested in HR specific to California, you must put the conference on your training budget. And for members, it's only around $800 for 3 days. It's approximately, I think it's, I have it in front of me. It's up until the 1st of February 2020, it's $850 to attend our conference for all 3 days. So if you're interested in California specific, I definitely do that. But yeah, we have HR certification courses if you're interested in the SHRM certification or the HRCI certification. None are on the calendar at this moment, but I'm sure they're planning some for the first quarter of 2020. So just look out on our calendar. And then this is the big one. This is where you're going to get a lot of value in the PIHRA workplace. We're going to save you time and money with the PIHRA workplace. It has a award-winning compliance center. It has an employee handbook that's California specific, but you can develop employee handbooks for all 50 states. So if you are an organization that works in California but has operations in Texas, New York, etc., you can refresh your employee handbook through our compliance center. It has a job description builder. You can also train all of your employees with this new PIHRA Learn module that we just added this year. I mean, just that would cost you $5,000 to $6,000 a year. It includes AB 1825 and SB 1343 training, which is the mandatory sexual harassment training. So this is worth the $150 that you pay. When you renew on time, it's $125 for the year. So, I mean, we're blowing a lot of our members' minds with that training module. It's called PIHRA Learn. And our partner on this, so this is all powered through Think HR. So fabulous benefits here. Also, for the person who asked about California specific, I would go to this compliance center because you will find California specific forms, policies, samples, etc. So again, it's huge value. We talked about professional development a lot, but this is where you're going to get consistent and accessible professional development to get you ahead. We have the monthly chapter meetings. We have the PIHRA conferences, which I'm going to talk about legal update in a minute. Specialty programs like HR Talent and Tech, Strategic Leader, and my favorite, PIHRA hashtag Real HR. This is something I helped launch. It's a hybrid between a networking event and a professional development event. What we do is we fuse a social with an interactive panel discussion on a provocative topic. So one of the topics we've done in the past is hiring and working with formerly incarcerated folks and other alternative types of individuals like the LGBTQ community. We had it at Volcom Skate Park. Over 150 people attended. It was awesome. People really got into the subject, especially since our unemployment rate is so low. You know, our internal recruiters are really looking at how to kind of look outside of the traditional pool to hire. So it was a great event. PIHRA Workplace, I talked about this a little bit. This is where you're going to save a lot of time and a lot of money. You can spend hours on this. If you have any questions about accessing this or you're having trouble accessing this, please do not hesitate to call Elisette or email me. We will get you on as soon as we can. It's awesome, and you can spend hours here, so it's great. I also heard someone wanting to learn about how they can use PIHRA to get that next best opportunity. We have great resources there. Your next step through CareerArc, one of our partners, is a premier career transition software platform that's all online. As a member, you get a 6-month free license. You can research companies. You can get advice on your resume. You can even videotape yourself answering interview questions so you can see how you're coming across, which I absolutely suggest you do, because we never know, and I know I need to do this, we never know if we're making strange gestures or if we're saying things that we're really not intending to say. So definitely practice here. I'm going to do some more practice on there myself, but this is extremely valuable, and it's only offered through PIHRA. Usually this platform is offered through organizations who are going through restructures or layoffs, and they offer it to their employees. So this is a URL where you can receive your license. And again, you'll get these PowerPoint decks after we finish here, so don't worry about writing it down. All right, some people asked about volunteering. You can volunteer at PIHRA. I do suggest, like I said, each chapter, so I would start, if you want to do a micro-volunteering, that's a little different, so I'll talk a little bit about that, but if you really want to volunteer and get to know people in the community and have them get to know you, volunteer at the chapter level. So go to chapter meetings. You really need to go. I can't tell you which chapter has an opportunity for you. And I also can't tell you where you're going to feel comfortable as a volunteer because it's all so different. Like I said, each chapter has a different culture. So I can absolutely give you an introduction to a chapter close to you and ask them to talk to you about any volunteer positions that they have. So the volunteer positions are usually a year long, but they also have ad hoc positions available. Maybe you can volunteer helping put on a networking event, or just every time you can, greet people who attend the monthly meetings. So those are opportunities that you could take advantage of as a new volunteer. We also have volunteers for our PIHRA conference, and that is a very competitive process. So right around May, we send out an email to everyone who's on our distribution list, and if you want to get on our conference volunteer distribution list, just email me or Elisette, and we'll let you know how to do that. But basically what you're going to do is email programs@pihra.org and let them know that you want to volunteer for the conference. You would have to submit an application to volunteer for the conference and then get selected. We get, 200 to 250 people submit applications to volunteer, and we only need 100 volunteers. So that's how that works. You can also volunteer at the PIHRA board level, but usually you want some experience at the chapter level because that's some of the criteria they're looking for at the board level. So you begin at the chapter level, or you could even begin at the conference level and then work your way up from there. So hopefully I'm answering those questions related to volunteerism. We want you to volunteer. We can't do it without our volunteers. So yeah. All right, I'm running out of time as usual. So let's talk a little bit about our professional development and learning here. As a member, you'll save at least $15 off the monthly meeting that we discussed. And you also get the member rate for the California HR conference and our other PIHRA seminars and conferences. For example, the Legal Update. Legal Update is coming up. If you haven't registered, I definitely recommend registering. There's a lot of different laws coming into play next year, and so you want to get ahead of that and not get caught by surprise. And make sure that your employer doesn't get caught by surprise, because this could lead to millions of dollars in legal fees. So we are in 5 locations this year: Riverside on the 22nd, La Jolla, San Diego on the 23rd, Anaheim and Burbank. Those are full day conferences, all employment law subjects. You can go to the URL. I believe there might be an agenda with the topics for each session on there, but I'm not quite sure. And we have a half-day event in Palm Desert. So yeah, we have this other great program. We're working with PIHRA South Orange County in February, so keep on the lookout for that. And we also have some online learning tools. Any information on how to get onto our online pay-per-view, or if you've purchased one of our programs on demand, like the conference is on demand, I think Legal Update is on demand, and you haven't been able to figure out how to get on there, just give us a call or contact our programs team. A lot of you said you wanted to network. We have countless opportunities to network. We have 4,500 members. They represent 2,500 companies. You could network at our monthly meetings, at PIHRA Legal Update, at Real HR. But here is a long list of things that are coming up. So come out and join us at one of these events. PIHRA Pasadena has a great, they're kind of a middle-sized group as well. They have a free HR roundtable and book club. I think they meet either once a month or every other month, but that's happening early next week, and it's free. We have free webinars for members. If you're not a member, you will have to pay, but our next webinar is on the 22nd, and we have several holiday parties coming up in December. So I definitely encourage you to go. If you want someone to meet you there, email me or Elisa, and we'll connect you. Either we'll go and meet you there, or we'll connect you with someone who we know is going to be there so they can look out for you. I don't see any questions. I hope I covered everything. I feel like I have. So if you have any questions, we have a minute or so before we move on. I hope this all was useful for you. And let's see what else. There's a lot of online ways to connect as well. Please, if you haven't already, ask for permission to get into the PIHRA LinkedIn group. We have a PIHRA company page on Facebook as well. We also have a LinkedIn company page as well, so you want to follow that. Follow us on Twitter. We have a PIHRA forum for members, so if you want to just ask a question to some members and have them respond, it's not super active, but it's relatively active. And this PIHRA.org/stay-informed, if you want to get email notifications about meetings through not just your preferred chapter, but other chapters, you could do it through this forum here. I see there's one question. Let's see. We do have an in-transition rate, so please email me. I think you got the answer. So we define in-transition as people who are not currently working or who are underemployed, perhaps working in a position that they haven't customarily been in because it's a little bit more junior. So please email me and we'll go through that with you. We are thinking about offering a mentoring program next year, but we're still in the design phase for that. And we will be sending an email to all of our members, and there'll be an application process to the mentoring program. So if you're interested in that, stay on the lookout for that. And Long Beach chapter, you know, I don't know if they have a focus on any certain topic in HR, but I do know those meetings are growing. They had a mixer last night with North Orange County at Downtown Disney. There was over 100 people there. So, oh yeah, Carolyn, good. I'm glad you went. I don't know if they have a certain, Long Beach has a certain focus in HR. They may be a little bit more broader in scope than others. So I would definitely go to that. North OC, I think they have a more traditional HR focus, but I can tell you it's a more traditional group. I don't know about the topics though. So you definitely check them out on PIHRA.org calendar and see what topics may interest you. And go to a meeting so you can, because, you know, this is my opinion. You know, I don't speak for everybody. I speak for Lily and what I see. You may have a totally different opinion. Again, that's why I encourage you all to attend some meetings, attend some different meetings, because, you know, something that I think is more traditional, you may think is exactly what you need and progressive. So, yeah, this is just my opinion. I'm doing the best I can to help you. And yeah, thank you so much for joining us. I don't think I have, I think the next slide is a Q&A slide. So I don't see any more questions. Thank you so much. Feel free to contact me privately if you have anything you want to discuss with me, any input, any concerns, any feedback. I'm absolutely open to hearing from you. And then as I promised, I think we're a little late, a couple minutes late, but here's the trivia question. In what year was SHRM established? In what year was SHRM established? Carolyn, you won. Carolyn Starling, you get the Padfolio. I'm so glad you heard me. Thank you all for your interest in PIHRA, for joining us today. Again, reach out to me or Elisette if we could be of service to you. We want to make sure you get the most out of your PIHRA membership. Have a great rest of your day and a great weekend. Take care.